Love and outward looking should be the characteristic of the church. Holiness, radical difference in lifestyle. And truth and love drive action and attitude. The church in the Democratic Republic of the Congo has loved and aided the victims of conflict-driven sexual violence for many years. We were there in January, in a place of the utmost despair, in which the light that shone was the light of Christ. A tent, I remember, full of handicapped children, dying, hungry and alone, apart from the church people who went in to sit with them. It was overwhelming. In the South Sudan, again in January, Caroline and I were there, and we were called a couple of days before we got there by the Archbishop, Daniel Deng, one of the great heroes of the faith. And he said, "Would you come up to Bor with me, a town in the middle of the fighting zone?" Well, we did. There was a slight objection from some people, but we did. And we went up, and we found a town that had been taken and retaken 4 times. Bodies on the streets, the smell of death in 40 degrees of heat everywhere. Mass graves to consecrate. And what does Daniel do? He goes on national television in the South Sudan and calls for reconciliation. Isn't that extraordinary? Doesn't that speak of what the church should be? And in Sudan, the church is also speaking heroically for an imprisoned woman and her 2 children, Miriam, for whom truth matters enough to die. A 21st century church loves the poor and the victim and stands for human dignity, challenges oppressors and supports victims. It speaks for women killed in lynchings called honor killings, or for those imprisoned under blasphemy laws. It does all that despite its own suffering. Truth and love embrace.